it live, damn it. We'll do it live. But at least I'm not Bill O'Reilly and calling women up and doing weird things to myself while talking to them. So
that would be too much, Red
Fox. That's too much, Bill O'Reilly. Okay, so with that being said, we're live. Sorry for running late. I overslept. I woke up fantastically early this morning because for what reason? I don't know why. I couldn't go to sleep, and I was called myself. I'm like, yeah, I'll get like an hour. I'll get like a good hour nap or something for the podcast. Slept through I didn't even set my alarm. Slept through, and I finally looked at my clock. I'm like, oh shit, 7:30. Yeah, it was not a good thing. But sorry for that. But let's get this party started. So, with that being said, just to give you guys a general overview of what we're going to be doing, we're going to be doing the main topic is games that could be announced for E3 that probably won't be, but could be announced for this year's E3 that would make us go, oh shit, this made my day. The catalyst to this was that I saw a trailer for a game that's essentially Paper Mario. Like, and not the kind of watered down, casualized, streamlined Paper Marios we've been getting. Like this is like a game where you've got like party members and special abilities outside of battle that you traverse the environment and do cool stuff. Like, like the first two Paper Mario games, and not what we've been getting for a while. And I was like, wow, if Nintendo announced they were doing a Paper Mario that had like those old school mechanics of the Paper Mario franchise, that would totally make my day. I was like, what games could be announced from various developers, first, second, third party, at this year's E3 that could also make someone's day? Before we go any further, let's have everyone introduce themselves.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, this is Jory. I want to welcome you to the BS Busters Midweek Podcast, and we got plenty to talk about, don't we?
Yeah, we got all types of cool stuff to talk about. We got we got the Pokemon Direct, which these two people are probably fanning out about. I have a completely different feeling about it, but I'm gonna let you guys fan out about it because you guys, I think you guys are gonna fan out about it more so than I would.
I'm actually not fanning.
I'm amazed, but that's neither here nor there. So I guess we'll get to the Direct first, and then we'll cover the other topics. So who wants to go first with their fanning out about the Direct?
I'll go first.
All right, go ahead.
My face when those giantess Pokemon images you see in DeviantArt are now canon.
Yeah. They could have brought Megas back. They could have had more.
I mean, that's basically what they are, right?
Joel, Joel, you do realize they Megas won't they'll still bring.
They should and shall be back sometime. I'm gonna hope for it. For Pete's sake.
Yeah, aren't Dyna whatever?
Joel, you're a Pokemon fan. You're part of the Pokemon community.
So fuck off, you ungrateful little.
Aren't those basically Mega Evolutions? Because they both last like 3. Except now it's like you can go out and catch. You can go out and catch, Dynamatic or whatever.
They're kind of like Mega Evolutions, but it's limited to 3 turns to balance things for balance purposes.
Yeah, weren't Mega Evolutions? You could only use them for like 3 or was it 5 turns?
No,
it's for endless turns.
I prefer boss Pokemon, not temporary power-ups. Yeah. Sheesh.
Oh. I mean, I guess it's good they limited it so you couldn't just, use it and then destroy the other team like people did.
Cool. May I remind you that Mega Rayquaza exists, and it's by far the most broken Mega Evolution.
It is a little OP as fuck. I will admit that.
OP, you should have fairies. Seriously, you guys are You guys make me want to rip my hair out.
No,
Look how
most
you guys
no,
act.
most of the no,
You're so
most of,
damn.
no, most of the
Especially
mega
me.
most of the mega evolutions made sense, but some of them that they added later on were just kind of like that's
They-
just you know.
Well, some of them were necessary because some of these Pokemons were competitively useless, like Sableye or Mawile.
Yeah, I don't know. Mawile was kind of cool.
Yeah. But it wasn't OU material, so it was stuck in the lower tiers because of its stats.
I see Mega Evolution is better, is the best. These
And then you got
Dino are
and you've got Pokemon that fell from grace like Charizard that needed Mega Evolution to be OU.
Charizard didn't need two. You know it, and everybody in this beeping universe knows it.
Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, Charizard didn't need 2 Mega Evolutions. Personally, I think they should have just stuck with its X. No, with its X evolution that gave it that turned it to a dragon type. Yeah, because it made more sense than the Y evolution, which just we're gonna raise its special stat and its speed goes up a little bit. It's like, well, Charizard is already kind of fast, and its special stat is really one of its like better stats anyway. So, like,
not in the current meta where it needs more speed, because right now in the current meta, having a base 100 speed is now considered average. And if you don't,
the reason why I said Y is better than X.
Yeah, but
the reason why power creep is a problem in the competitive Pokemon community.
Yeah, but I mean, when they added effort values, like if you like generally speaking, if you have a Charizard, unless you're one of those people like me who basically has just been carrying the same starter team, not the same starter team, but like has gone through all that rigmarole of like bringing your Pokemon over through all those various things. Like generally speaking, if you have a Charizard, you got it as a starter, which means when they added effort values, it's gonna have effort values added to its stats as you level up. So it's not gonna it's gonna have higher stats than that if you raise them.
Then there's IVs where the total complete maximum is 31 for each stat.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still gonna be higher than that, typically speaking, because I remember back in the day when when it first got started, everyone had that hard on for Pikachu because Pikachu was made the face of the franchise, and they like some stupid bastard would have like a level 100 Pikachu because they were dumb, and they would think, I'm gonna kick your Charizard's ass, and I'm like, okay, 2 things. First of all, I taught my Charmander dig, number 1, and number 2. Go ahead, try some shit, and they, because whatever. But anyway, yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, continue with your fanning out, sir.
So Dynamaxing is for what as this mechanic is called, as this new mechanic is called, is only temporary, which lasts only 3 turns. Unlike Mega Evolutions, which
is the better one. Seriously.
No.
You get this one because Mega Evolutions at least let you keep your boss Pokemon.
You're only saying that because you're anti-Smogon.
I'm anti-Smogon and against the Z-move, so F you on this. Here's the thing, though. I at least prefer Dynamax to Z-moves, so F off.
Z-moves are hardly used even in Smogon competitive play, so it's not overpowered as you make it.
Actually, to be honest with you, Z-moves are hardly used even. Z-moves are hardly used even. Period. Like they just.
Saying that if anybody's supporting Z-moves at this point, I might as well say that they are really dumb at this point.
I mean, they were a good idea. They just weren't very well executed. Like, because basically, like, you had practically no real incentive to use them because once you Mega Evolved, it was like, what's the point? Like, I get the stat boost. I don't need any of this other shit.
Not to mention, just like although it likes Mega Evolutions, it can only use Z moves once. But unlike Mega Evolutions, it's only for certain situations rather than being strategic.
Like, certain creatures.
Yeah. Plus, there are some Pokemon that
at least with Z,
there are some Pokemon
that Mega Evolutions that they.
Plus, you got the life.
I was saying that
items that benefit better. That benefit better for those Pokemon rather than a Z move.
Yeah.
Like, at least Z moves give love to Pokemon that give love to Pokemon that need it.
Well, I mean, I would agree with you, except they added all these new moves for like older generation Pokemon that made them more useful with the later generations they added, that it kind of rendered Z moves kind of superfluous, if you will.
But of course, on the bright side, according to the leak that everyone's has been keeping an eye on recently in regards to Sword and Shield, there's an implication that cross-gen evolutions are coming back for this generation.
Oh, I mean, that's cool.
And it mentioned that Farfetch is one of those Pokemon to get an evolution.
What, who? No, I can't hear you. What? Who?
Farfetch.
I mean, that'd be cool.
If that ever happens, that would be the biggest troll shot of all.
Well, I mean, the thing about Farfetch'd in I think Blue was the game that you could actually like catch Farfetch'd in, if I remember correctly, back in the day.
No,
it's for trades only.
Or yeah, but I mean, the thing about Farfetch'd was that it was pretty much like it wasn't for battle. It wasn't a very good Pokemon. It was the only good thing about Farfetch'd was that you could use it as an HM slave for certain abilities, and that was it. Like you could teach it cut, you could teach it fly, which in the original generation, those moves actually weren't that bad. So it was like, I don't feel that bad about teaching you these two moves, but that growth wasn't really that good or anything like that. So
it wasn't something to write home about. I know.
Yeah.
And the move cut is basically outclassed by the move strength, which had it stronger. It had a better accuracy.
Well, I mean, if we're keeping in the same family of attacks, I would say it's outclassed by Slash. Slash has Slash's accuracy isn't as high, or wasn't as high back in the day, but it had a higher critical hit rate. So it was like, I'll take it. I might not do as much. I might not hit as often, but when I do hit, I have a higher chance of critical.
And if we're talking Gen 1 mechanics, you get a higher chance of getting critical hits based on the speed of your Pokemon, which is why the Pokemon Persian is often uses Slash, because it can always get critical hits because of its high speed.
Yeah. So continue your fanning out.
Oh, I wanted to try out the new Crow Pokemon, which is a steel flying type, surprisingly, rather than a dark type.
In short, we have Skarmory round 2.
Yeah.
It'll probably be more offensive oriented than Skarmory,
which looked like it should have been more offensively oriented, but wasn't.
So Skarmory did end up being one of the best used Pokemon in OU because of its at least in single battles.
Really, for me, Skarmory suffered from the shit. I forgot the name of that rock type, flying type Pokemon that you could get.
Aerodactyl.
Yeah. It suffered from the Aerodactyl problem, which was it looked badass, but then you actually realized that its dual typing made it vulnerable.
A big bullseye.
Actually, no. Unlike Aerodactyl, Skarmory only has 2 weaknesses, but is made up for lots of resistances.
Fire and rock?
No, fire and electric.
So it doesn't even get the benefit of being a steel type and having some type of defense against electricity?
Yeah, but those are its only 2 weaknesses. its resistances make up for it, which is why it's constantly used in the OU metagame.
Whatever. Anyway,
it's also used for stalling as well, like spike, stealth rocks, whirlwind, defog.
So, any other fanning out you want to do before we move on to Jewel?
Oh, the wild area. Apparently an element they're not going. Apparently they finally took one of the good elements of Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee to the main game. Free roaming overworld free roaming Pokemon. But
actually, that is a good idea. Yeah. Because now you can finally see when you're about to get in a random battle, and not that shit where like
resource.
Well, this basically happens early on in Pokemon, because once you get far enough in the game, you don't have to worry about this. But early on in the game, when you first get started out, and you only have like maybe 3 or 4 Pokemon, and you don't like your team isn't that powerful yet, and you're trying to level up your beginning team, and you're like there's some grass, and you're like, man, if I just make a few more steps, I can make it to town and heal up in a Pokemon Center. Oh no, I'm in a fight. Shit.
You repel haters.
And the best part about that thing is that different Pokemon rotate depending on the weather each day.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's cool.
Yeah.
So my question is going to be only on that area, or there will be 2 or 3 more areas similar to that later on?
I think the wild area. I think the wild area will be regional for like what you're near the map of. So like if you're in a place that's got snow, it'll be the wild area for that area. So it'll have Pokemon depending on the type of weather that's coming out. So if there's a blizzard, a certain type of snowy Pokemon will be there versus, if it's clear but you're in the snow area. I think the wild areas will be determined on where you are, not like a general shared wild area that's like slightly different depending on the weather. That's kind of weird, and I'm whatever. So you finished? Move on to Jewel.
Oh, and apparently while the gyms are back, apparently there's going to be functions similar to the Pokemon Stadium game,
which is probably which is sadly to me one of the few things I actually felt enjoyed about with that direct.
Yeah,
we're back to beeping gems.
If I didn't have utter contempt for Pokemon Stadium, I would have been like, yeah, that's awesome. But since I hate that game, or the first 2 games in the series, nah. Okay then.
Be glad about Battle Revolution not being in your arsenal.
And that's pretty much everything I have to say.
All right then, Jewel, take the floor.
I'm disappointed a lot with this, but then again, I have hope. Sadly, it was with the gyms, and to a degree, Dynamax. Even though I prefer Megas, and I know Pinky's gonna rant on me about that.
Gatekeeping.
I like the Dynamax better than the Z-Moves, though I still prefer the Megas. The new Pokemon that were shown so far hasn't impressed me too much, but then again, we only have a small selection so far, which I'm actually proud that they have restraint of showing so few, though it's not as impressive to at least give me hope of what the lineup is.
Let's see. If patterns are to go by, even numbered gens tend to introduce less new Pokemon compared to the odd numbered gens.
I don't really care either way. Continue, Joel.
The myth stuff is honestly with the humans and oddly the Pokedex, because I'm not surprised the Roam Dex follows you again, and we got a rival that's kind of friendly.
Yeah.
Though if anything, he's kind of the brother of the champion.
Yeah.
And also is, well, using the starter weak to yours.
I'll tell you this much: they still haven't created as much of an asshole of a rival as Gary O.
They kind of did with Gladion and Sun and Moon.
Or no,
beep him, right?
no, man.
He's just an.
Gary Oak, that motherfucker was so annoying. It's like when you finally meet him, it's like, man, fuck you, fuck your team, your granddad's cool, even though I know he's fucking my mom, but fuck your team, fuck you. And if you come up here again, starting some shit, I'm gonna kick your ass again, motherfucker.
Even though we kicked his urine to Neptune and back.
Not every rival needs to be like Blue or Gary, because then you'll be complaining about how the rivals are stale.
Although I'm trying to figure out why. Not really, no. No. But then again, I mean, it's just kind of weird that, Gen 1, they made a Pokemon that was, a rival that was just a total asshole.
They explain the reason why. It's because of limitations. Stop.
I don't care why they made it the way they did.
No,
I'm just expressing my of how he was just an asshole who was enjoyable to defeat. I don't need an explanation as to why. Look, man, sometimes the mystery is part of the joy.
You're putting feelings over facts here.
Okay.
If anything, I would prefer just black and white's rivals. I'm saying plural here. I prefer those two compared to Gary, much as he is such fun to punch.
Well,
and Hal, which is too soft to punch.
Well, the thing about black and white's rival is that N was just kind of like, it turns out, well, he was just this kid.
I don't consider N the rival. I was talking Bianca and Charon, which is the funny thing because both of them have a Pokemon that you're weak and strong against, and you get to challenge their ideals.
No. The rival for black and white was N. Like the whole thing was like, well, they tried to build him up into being this total badass, but I'm like, well, he's just kind of this guy who's been brainwashed.
That's the reason why I chose Sharon and Bianca. Because and despite how much people love him, he's a lost soul. As in, he's so confused with what he wants to be, it feels like you're beating up a puppy.
I mean, no, I didn't really want to be him. I was just like, wow, you're sending, like, basically, N was basically like a child soldier.
That's how I was feeling. Like a puppy. The puppy's sent to try to attack you, and you don't want to hit it, but it's trying to do all it can to stop you.
No, I wouldn't call it a puppy.
You gotta do something about it.
I wouldn't call it a puppy, because anyone who's had a puppy, especially when they don't have their teeth and they're biting you, in their head they're kicking your ass, and actually defeated the entire Pokemon League and the champion. Like he was not just some chump. He actually was skilled. It's just he was totally brainwashed into doing this. Like, well, I want to create. I mean, which is kind of stupid. I want to create a better world, but for Pokemon, by using Pokemon to defeat the people who protect Pokemon, it was kind of weird. It was to be fair, it was kind of stupid motivation, but it is what it is. Continue. Yes, I muted you. Yes, I did. Sorry, but I can't deal with people trying to go off on the weird tangents about weird shit. Okay, go ahead.
And if anything, I'm gonna at least finish saying that so far, the wilds is the biggest downside to me. Since seriously, you're burning resources trying to imitate Breath of the Wild, and it's gonna be the And it's going to be one of the reasons that it's going to be so much of a file dump.
Really? You actually thought they were trying to imitate Breath of the Wild with the wild portion of the? Because I wasn't getting that.
Here's the thing. I know that people want Breath of the Wild style of Pokemon in a sense, or have seen all the Pokemon in the wild so they could try to evade them and capture them and yada yada yada. Here's the thing. It takes people and resources to render so many things in one area that's even remotely open in the first place. Like 3D worlds and stuff. I'm being serious.
I wasn't getting that from that part of the trailer. What I got is that this seems like the next evolution of what they did in Coliseum 2. Remember where, like, instead of you actually going out in the wild to like catch your Pokemon, they had these little areas where you could go and get wild Pokemon. You know what I mean? Like designated.
I get where you're going at with the wild spots. I remember that pretty well.
That's what I think. That's what I think this really is, like a evolution of that concept. I don't think it's because you really couldn't do Breath of the Wild style stuff in a Pokemon game. It just, like, if you did a massive open world like that where you caught Pokemon like that, I don't think it works. Like, for me, it seems like what the wild areas are like now is kind of like a mix between the safari area from back in the day and those wild spots from Coliseum 2. With some Pokemon Go thrown in there where you can see them before you get
them. And as much as I hate Pokemon Go and Let's Go, trust me, I know Pinky's in the background screaming, "Let's Go is the greatest of all time." I can hear it. I'm a little worried of how much resource it's going to burn up. Seriously.
Probably not that much. I mean, I hate to say this. I know some people are going to get angry when they hear this, but I don't think that, like, on a technical level, I don't think the Switch. I mean, the Switch is more advanced than the Wii U was, but I don't think that. I don't think that the system resources are geared towards certain things. So I don't think that they're using as much system resources as you might think to do it. Plus, like I said, I think the wild areas are basically kind of like the Safari Zone from back in the day. Sort of.
Yeah, I get where you're going at. And if anything, I hope it's only one beeping area, not multiples.
Yeah, but even if it's multiple areas, I just don't think that's using a lot of system resources. So, but continue.
Well, as I pointed out before, I'm a little worried about the wilds being the thing that everybody fangasm over. And for the last part, the legendaries, we got one hit and one beep and miss. I mean, seriously, I may go for the sword, but seriously.
Yeah, that shield looks kind of derpy. Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying.
The shield looks a little derpy.
Yeah, like you're fighting Lysander's hair.
I don't know about that. It just looks kind of weird. It just looks a little weird. And the two Pokemon look like they share a common ancestor because of the color scheming and stuff like that. Well, I guess I can sum up how I felt about that little direct in one word.
Meh.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I'm with you with this.
I mean, there's some cool things in there for people who are detail mongers. I'm not a detail monger. I'm just like, it's okay. It's Pokemon.
Give me substance, not even style, and no flesh and dabs, please.
I mean, I'm not going to go that far. I just think that look, I'll be fair. Part of this is on me. I'm just kind of burnt out on Pokemon. And part of it is I just don't like. I don't really fan out about certain games like I used to. Like, back in the day when I would buy both versions of Pokemon. Pokemon Red and Blue and Yellow, and Pokemon Gold and Silver and Crystal, and Pokemon
and this is
Sapphire.
I know that you're a former Pokemon fan, and I could get that.
Yeah, I just, for some reason, with the latest generations, Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon, I was just like, I can't do it anymore. So for me, like Sword and Shield, they're like, this is the next gen Pokemon, and I'm looking and I'm like, okay, that you're supposed to be selling. I mean, the new people who are into Pokemon Go and Let's Go and all that shit, they're really enjoying this. But for me, who's like an old school person who gave Game Freak way too much fucking money back in the day for this stuff, I'm like, I just don't care. And this isn't really selling it to me. Like, this doesn't feel like a next gen Pokemon game. Now, of course, they'll probably have another.
For me, this feels like 7.5.
Yeah, it feels like a point. Well, yeah, it feels like a 0.5. It really does. It feels like a 0.5. If you ignore Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon, which were kind of like missteps to me, but yeah, I mean, it's not terrible. I'm just like, I'm just not like enthralled with it. I'm not like, oh my god, Pokemon. But I'm not gonna shit on people who enjoyed the Direct, because you know what, you like what you like. There's certain games that they'll probably announce at E3 that people are gonna be like, I don't give a fuck about that game, and I'm probably gonna lose my shit. Like if THQ Nordic shows up with, hey guys, we're making another Destroy All Humans, I'll be like in that from that song from the We Gotta Vote people. I'll lose my shit. I'll be like, oh shit. So. But anyway, I guess we can move on to the next topic, since everyone gave their opinions of the Nintendo Direct.
Is it okay for me to talk now?
Yeah, you can. It's just, I mean, like sometimes I really I don't need an explanation for something. I just, I don't need an explanation for why something was good. I just acknowledge, yeah, it was good. I don't need to go into the minutia why it was good. That's like, I mean, look, I know I do the same thing with food sometimes. I'm like, well, the regional differences between the barbecue, but look, not all the time. If I agree with you, look, you won the argument. I said it was good. Just let it roll. But anyway, the next little bit of this is because I want to get the Pokemon Direct out of the way, because I think like two of you got like Jewel is more upbeat about it than I am, and you're on top of the world about it. And there's tons of people who are there are a lot of people who this will be their first Pokemon game since Gen 1 or 2. So, for those people, God bless you. Have fun, enjoy this new Pokemon game. For me, I'm a little on the meh side, but everyone's going to enjoy it. But let's talk about something not everyone's going to enjoy. Fallout 76.
The bags. Seriously.
Yeah,
These guys got 1 week left, by the way, before they officially screwed themselves over.
They ain't getting them bags. They ain't getting that shit.
I was saying that they got 1 week left to start shipping out bags before they officially get run out for it.
People aren't getting, because normally when you have a company trying to make right with stuff, they send you an email. Like, I remember I bought a new refrigerator from Home Depot, a smart refrigerator, which is awesome because you can actually there's a drawer in it where you can put meat. Let's say a pot roast, and you're like, oh, well, I want to cook pot roast when I get home. You can basically if you give it a 4-minute heads up, it'll actually thaw out that pot roast in 4 hours slowly without messing up the meat. It's great, but there was something wrong with the ice maker, but it was under warranty. So they're like, well, we don't have the part in right now. We'll get it in 2 to 3 weeks, some shit like that. And so they sent me an email when it arrived. They're like, yeah, we'll get it shipped out, and then we'll have a technician come and install it. Like, and anyone who's had anything where someone else had to make good on the product, like, typically, they send you out a thing. People aren't getting any emails that they're getting their canvas bags. They ain't giving nobody no damn canvas bag.
I'm trying to at least say that they at least got 1 week left to try to at least appear representable. But in my heart of hearts, I'm gonna say it. They are so gonna get dumped for this.
Oh man, look, Bethesda got their money.
Is this the fact that people who downloaded Fallout 76 were promised?
Or no, this is the physical merch that people who bought the premium version of this game, the premium version that was like $200, $250, some shit like that came with like a canvas bag that was swapped out for some cheap little shit that you get when you go to a college fair. So that cheap shit that, like, if you look hard at it, it'll rip. That stuff, and that stuff made out of Zyrtec.
I thought it was canvas.
No, it's not canvas, because real canvas is tough. I mean, your jeans are basically made out of canvas, a form of canvas, denim. So, and anyone can tell you that's like a real high quality canvas bag. Them shits are tough. Basically that's what happened. Bethesda, people are like, man, when are we going to get our bags? Give us 6 months. We'll get. Look, they were stalling for time because they got your money. You probably spent some money on microtransactions. They were just taking your money. Probably going to run with it.
More about you than they ever should. I was saying that they got more info than they should because remember that those forms that you had to sign in order to try to get your bag?
Yeah.
Remember what happened to those?
Nothing.
No, worse. They got exposed to the entire people of the internet.
Oh no, that wasn't for them. That was for something else. But they, Plus they dropped.
Actually, it was for the bag.
They dropped people's credit card information.
I was telling you, Red, that they had to make a form sheet that was so exposed in revealing addresses, their names, phone numbers, all that kind of detail.
Yeah.
They get their bags, and that was exposed to everybody on the internet, so they could be open and so on.
Yeah, Bethesda fucked up. I mean, I think we can all agree that Bethesda fucked up, and it's glorious.
It's a train wreck.
Yeah, I'm loving seeing how they fucked up so much, and yet it's not going to do anything because people like Bethesda could literally shit in people's mouths, and some people would still be like, oh, models will fix it. Anyone's thoughts on people still getting fucked over by Bethesda with Fallout 76? I didn't know we talked about it this week, but apparently they just can't stop fucking up. So, I had to. BS Busters is bullshit. Got to talk about it.
Do you expect Bethesda to apologize at this year's E3?
No.
No.
Not after IGN did that interview where the person, like IGN, which claims to be a journalistic video game journalistic website, the guy doing the interview all but got down on his knees, pulled down, unzipped Todd Howard's pants, pulled down his pants and his shorts, and gave him a blowjob with those questions he was giving him. Verbally speaking, if you mean like from the question he was asking, because really, okay, look, if you're a serious journalistic company, like journalists asking Todd Howard questions, the first thing you asked me
You
why would you release such a buggy, broken, glitchy piece of shit? Even for Bethesda, Fallout 76 is particularly glitchy, even for them. Why would you release that at full market price? Because here's the thing. Like, I have nothing against people making money, but if something that's broken, like if something is that fundamentally broken, you cannot release it as a $60 game because it's not a
just like Anthem.
It's too broken. You know, that's like someone, that's like, I mean, even if you go to a grocery store, right? The stuff that's discontinued or about to go bad gets discounted, right? I mean,
as I made the comment before, 76 is like Anthem, though Anthem has at least more content than 76.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm not sure by how much.
Well, looking at the roadmap, very little, like minute. But because they cancel a lot of that stuff. They're like, we'll get to it when we can. We got you. Basically, which is shorthand for we got your money and we ain't got to do shit until we feel like it.
Yeah. And funny enough, somebody said that both 76 and Anthem should do a Final Fantasy 14.
Well, I don't know about Fallout 76 because Bethesda will never admit that they fucked up. I think that I think that Anthem could be saved, but basically what would have to happen is that game would have to be pulled for about, I want to say 6 months to a year. No, let's say 8 months. 8 months of BioWare, of like maybe a team at BioWare working hard to put in the content that needs to be in that game. So like a better single player storyline, better character interactions, better combat, more diverse missions in combat, some permanent extra content, and then just call it like Anthem. Well, I would say Anthem Reborn, but they already did that with Final Fantasy 14. Call it Anthem. Regeneration, and just sell it again next year with all those upgrades. For people who already bought the game, they get it. It's a free upgrade for them. But for people who want to get into it, $80, $70, $80, and boom. That's probably the only thing they could really do. EA is not going to do it because EA is run by assholes, but that would be the smart thing for them to do. Probably not going to happen, but so
yeah, I see neither going the way of Final Fantasy 14. So then again, considering how Final Fantasy 15 came out.
Yeah, I mean, this all could have been avoided had they just kept Final Fantasy as being a single player RPG and not a fucking MMO. But even though I'm not surprised because Final Fantasy 11, that MMO is shit. So I mean, like you have to have a party of like 20, 30 people just to take on a normal enemy in Final Fantasy 11. So, it was not a very good MMO. And then they said, well, we'll do it again with 14. And people were surprised that it was shit too.
Actually, it was so bad that they had to reboot it. Yeah,
by destroying the world. And that's why they call it Realm Reborn, because they destroyed the world and started from scratch. Which... your game's bad when they got to burn down everything and start from scratch. So I guess we can move on to the next topic. Shenmue 3 was delayed to nobody's surprise.
I was about to say, if it's not the Kojima, it's Shenmue.
By how many months?
I don't know. They said it's coming out in November, but the thing is that I don't think it's gonna make it, because if you put Shenmue out in November, like the holiday season, when everything else big is coming out in November, it's gonna get buried. So, like, that's not a smart move. The best time to really release Shenmue would probably be February, March, when there's not a lot of competition. But then again, this is the guy who helped bankrupt Sega and got them out of the console industry with the original Shenmue. So, because you guys know that the original Shenmue, like what people call Shenmue 2, like that was all Shenmue 1 and Shenmue 2 were supposed to be one game, right? But because this guy used so much money making the original Shenmue, Sega split it into two so they could recoup some of their losses. It still wasn't good enough because, as we can see, Sega left the console market and had to get bought up by Sammy. So,
and I'm surprised that all that fundraising money went to this.
Yeah, because people don't seem to realize that Shenmue came out in, 2000? 99, 2000? And, like, it had a budget, I want to say, of, like, in excess of $200 million. But $200 million in 99, if you adjust for inflation, is worth way more than what he got for Shenmue 3. So it's like people don't seem to realize that, even though it seems like he got a lot of money, it's actually a smaller budget than he had for the original two Shenmues. So, I mean, I wouldn't trust this guy with a budget of $50, much less hundreds of millions. So, I mean, didn't you notice it was kind of weird that that Sony didn't bankroll him to make Shenmue 3 a PS4 exclusive? Because, I mean, they knew what he did at Sega. They're not going to do that shit again. I mean, they're doing it with Kojima because they're fucking idiots with it. Kojima! Hideo Kojima, one of the most overrated fucking video game directors of all time.
Yeah. As I said, between the sum of Shenmue and the Call of Kojima, I'm not sure which is worse.
The Bethesda fanboys and Sony fanboys and Xbox fanboys. Basically, any fanboy who just fans out about something without acknowledging if it has major faults, that the major faults exist, they're pretty bad. I mean, I'm not saying you have to love everything.
Yeah, but I was about to say that so far the hard denialists would be somewhere between the Shenmue and the Kojima crew. And
Sony fanboys. Because I went on Twitter, ran into Shadow Fox on Twitter, and literally, this guy made this big fucking
multi-post rant.
No, he made this big rant about how he's gonna this guy fucking makes this big this thing. It's like, well, the Switch is, the Switch has been in terms of sales rate has been outselling the PS4 for the last 2 years. Well, 18 months to 2 years at this point. Like, it's just been selling and selling and selling. And part of that is because the Switch is a hot commodity right now. And also part of that is that the PS4 sales they've plateaued. They've flattened out. They've been flat for the last 2 years. Even Spider-Man, that new Spider-Man game didn't really help all that much. Like, basically, everyone who wants a PS4 has a PS4, and the people who don't want a PS4 ain't going out and getting one. So it's like whoever has a PS4 has it, and there's not a lot of people getting new ones. So Sony, it makes sense. Like, people are like, why isn't Sony showing anything at E3 this year? Because basically, any games that they were working on for the PS4 last year are being ported over to the PS5 this year. And
I was going to make a joke that usually don't they show their games 3 years ahead of time?
Yeah, basically. But I mean, just business-wise, it doesn't make sense. Like, okay, if you are a PS4 owner and and Sony showed a whole bunch of games at this year's E3, and then all those games get moved over to the PS5, you're gonna look at the PS4 like, what the fuck did I buy this shit for? So it doesn't make sense for them as a company to do that because that's just bad business. And people are like, well, E3 and all that shit. And plus, not to mention, Sony's already done that before. Because remember them showing games that would be 3-4 years out, and by the time the game came out, no one really cared about it because other shit had come out by then. I mean, so like Sony doesn't want to have that happen to them again. So, it is what it is.
Oh, here's some breaking news. The late Yamauchi's son has gotten married yesterday.
I mean,
and who whooped that ring?
I mean, I'm glad he's getting married, but I mean, good for him. I mean, Okay then. So, any other topics anyone wants to go into before we get into the main topic?
Microsoft is selling some Xbox branded soap and deodorant in Australia.
Normally I would say that's kind of cool, but maybe that's a hint. Maybe they're trying to say that people in Australia think. Like, hey, motherfucker. So,
excuse me for a moment. I need to burst into life.
Here's the link. Cool. You can see it for yourself.
Microsoft is rolling out its own Xbox brand soap and deodorant in Australia. That's kind of weird because Australia, like the big gaming in Australia, the big console gaming in Australia is I think that's the land of the PS4 and PC. Like Xbox, that really isn't their a strong area for them because that's the PAL region. And as we all know, if like the Pacific Asian Islands area is not Microsoft's strong point. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure if you were in Japan and someone threw a brand new Xbox One out of a car on the road, people will go out of their way to dodge around it. Like they wouldn't even let their car hit it. That's how much they don't give a fuck about the Xbox in Japan.
I'm sorry, but hearing what Pinky just said, that made me laugh so hard I almost fell out of my chair.
Is that why you was crying laughter? Is that why you muted yourself? Because your laughter is too much for us to handle?
So now they're selling.
I was trying to not drown you guys in my laughs.
No,
that's why.
I don't think this is Xbox selling this. I think Xbox is licensing out their name to another company to use this. But either way, it's just kind of like, does someone actually think people are going to buy fucking deodorant and soap because it's got Xbox on it? I mean, I'm a Nintendo fan, but I didn't get Nintendo cereal just because it had Nintendo on it.
I was about to say that. See, hearing this just made my day a lot brighter, especially with all the rain, with all the storms that are arriving around here. Man, that was some dumb that I needed to get a laugh out of.
I don't know who okayed that deal, but man, it seems like they're trying to say, hey, you stinky ass motherfuckers, bathe. Use toiletries, you stinking son of a bitch. Anyway, that being said, I guess we can move on to the main topic, which is actually going to be pretty fun. What game or games could be announced, no matter how unlikely or impossible, from a first, second, or third-party developer or publisher that will make your E3?
Let's see. For starters, it just started recently today. A new Godzilla fighting game.
Yeah, I saw that. That looks cool.
Yeah, but it's currently a rumor, so we don't know if it's actually true or not. Though I wish it is. And the fact that it's being developed by Arc Systems.
Yeah, I was about to say, if it's from Arc System Works, I trust it. If it was anyone else, I'd be like, this is going to be some licensed ass bullshit. But since they did a good job off of Dragon Ball FighterZ, Z, so.
That's why I'm hoping it's true, because Arc Systems knows what they're doing when it comes to licensed fighting games based on licensed property.
Yeah, unlike another company that made a licensed fighting game. Capcom.
I thought it was Capcom for a moment. Yeah.
I did say Capcom.
Which means it's going to be which also means it's going to be 2D. It's going to be a 2D fighter, which I've been hoping for since I've been wanting a Godzilla fighting game that's more like a spiritual successor to that Super Famicom game that never came out overseas.
I mean, that one's kind of good. The one on the TurboGrafx CD / the Q card hybrid is like it's kind of like that. It's actually pretty good. The only thing is like if you're, I hope if this is true, they have environmental destruction. Because these are giant monsters beating the shit out of each other. There has to be environmental destruction. If you're in a city and these giant monsters are fighting each other, other shit's gonna get torn the fuck up by logical extension. But yeah. If we get it, I'll get it. It'd be awesome.
And let's see. Following up is the announcement of the return of Banjo-Kazooie, whether it's a new game / remake / remaster of his older games, of the first two games, or even announcement of him being Smash DLC.
You mean them?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, I haven't really enjoyed how Microsoft's been handling Rare's IP, so I'm not exactly overly enthusiastic about this one.
I mostly worry because seriously, there's some good stuff that Rare has done, and Microsoft has melted into liquid
feces. Yeah, liquid feces. I mean, there's only two games that Rare has made under Microsoft that I would say were good, and that was Viva Pinata 1 and 2. Everything else has just been a steaming pile of dog shit. Avatars were bullshit.
You said 1 and 2 of what?
Viva Pinata.
Oh, okay. I said Viva Pinata is the only thing that's been good out of them.
Well, there was 2 Viva Pinatas. There was also a handheld one, but no. Like, Viva Pinata is the type of game that you have to be on a console in order to play. Like, there's certain games that if you want to, like a 3D Mario game really works on a home console. A 2D Mario game can be on a home console or a handheld. Like, it works on either medium. But there's certain games where you really want to play that sitting down on your big screen with a controller in your hands. And it's like Viva Pinata is one of those games that really does well on a home console versus a handheld. But yeah, the 2 Viva Pinata games were pretty good, and that's it. Like Rare's take on Wii Sports. I know it was called something else for Xbox, but it basically was Wii Sports. That was shit. That used the Kinect. The Avatars was shit. Perfect Dark Zero was shit. Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts was shit. Cameo Element Power was shit. Grab by the Ghoulies was okay. Not great.
I was about to make the joke that Grab by the Ghoulies, they were grabbed by their own ghoulies. I couldn't make that joke.
Okay. It was okay. Sea of Thieves was shit. I mean, like, okay, so you have one mediocre game, Grabbed by the Ghoulies, and then a whole bunch of shit.
I was about to say,
and people are gonna say, well, Killer Instinct was made by somebody else. So
yeah, I was about to make the joke that there's an island of meh and an ocean of brown.
Yeah. So I mean, really, what can we say? But yeah, the only announcement that could work for me with Microsoft in regards to Banjo-Kazooie is like, we're selling it to Nintendo because we can't do shit with it. That's the
Yeah.
Because I don't trust Rare or Microsoft with legacy IPs because they just managed to fuck it up.
Rare I would trust more than Microsoft with our old IPs, but that's only by an inch.
I guess. So what else would surprise you, Pinky? What else would be like, man, this shit's awesome?
Oh, what? The new whatever, and probably whoever new. Oh, probably Mario Odyssey DLC for playable Peach.
Miss kidnapped herself.
No. She in this one, her campaign isn't playable. Isn't where she was kidnapped. It's where the Mushroom Kingdom was attacked. Instead of being a good leader and rebuilding, she's on vacation, and like her citizens are hunting her down to bring her ass back. So she actually does her fucking job as ruler of Mushroom Kingdom. But she's trying to get away, so that's why she's got the crown and everything. I mean, I don't know. That'd be cool. I mean, really, it would be cool if they pulled a Mario 64 DS and had like multiple playable characters, like Luigi with a hat, maybe Mario with a hat, Princess Peach with a hat. That'd be cool. Maybe Toad with a hat. That'd be cool. It wouldn't make my day, but this is your list. Anything else?
I think that's about it.
All right, then I guess it's Jules' turn. Jewel, go. What announcement?
Let's see if I could go for 3 sets. Mischief Makers 2
from Treasure.
Yeah, hopefully. Billy Hatcher, if it ever does try to resurface again.
Billy Hatcher 2 or a remaster?
Yeah, a remaster, hopefully.
All right.
And well, why not go for broke? If Sunset Overdrive ever goes multiplat, I hope to see it on Switch first.
It is multiplat. It's on PC.
I mean, console-wise. But
yeah.
I get what you're saying with multiplat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would like to see it on the Switch, but I mean, I already bought that game on PC for like $20. I'm not buying it again for the Switch because they'll probably charge goddamn dollars for it.
I was about to say that some games have too much. Some games die on the Xbox that don't deserve it, in a sense. And I feel Sunset Overdrive is one of them, as well as any RPG that people will even try to put onto the Xbox.
Yeah. If there was an RPG on the Xbox, you just send it out there to die. It's like that goat from Jurassic Park that they put in the T-Rex enclosure. It's like, oh man, why'd you put that goat out there? That goat's just there to die. Why'd you do that?
That's how I feel like when I see certain games on the Xbox. Like, you're gonna let it on this system,
especially a JRPG. Like Western RPGs do pretty well on the Xbox, but JRPGs, I'm like, why would you do that?
At least I kept my list down to 3, because if I went for the JRPGs for that one, then I might then I might make this a longer list.
All right, so I guess it's my turn. Okay, for Nintendo, there's 3 games that could be announced that would just basically make me go, oh shit. Number 1, the first game is a new Paper Mario. Like I said, the thing that got me was I saw an indie game being made by a guy and his team. That the game is basically kind of like a throwback to Paper Mario 1 and 2. Which Nintendo hasn't made a Paper Mario like that for 4 iterations at this point. So there's more casualized bullshit entries in the Paper Mario series than quality RPGs in the series at this point. So that would surprise me. I would be surprised for. I mean, I would be surprised if they came out and they're like, "Hey guys, we're releasing another Wario Land, yay!" And I'd get it because I love Wario Land. And I would also be surprised if this is probably not going to happen, but this is for games that would be announced that are not going to happen. If already Nintendo was like, "Hey, guess what? Xenoblade Chronicles X2, bitches!" That would make my day. Let's see what else. That's from Nintendo. From Sega, if Sega has started to talk about games that that aren't just always, well, look at this right here, look at this new shit. It would be awesome to me if Sega released a compilation of Phantasy Star 1, 2, and 3. Like a Phantasy Star Online 1, 2, and 3. If they put those games out, as a remastered, up-res type of thing, I would love that because I like those games a lot, and I wasted I pumped so much time in college to those games, rather than going out partying when I did have a little bit of free time and wasn't doing homework and shit. Phantasy Star Online. And or a remaster, re-release, or sequel to Skies of Arcadia Legend, because I fucking love that game. Let's see. From Capcom, I would love to see, if they're going to do, since a year ago they did a reboot, well, not a reboot, another iteration to Mega Man, like the original Mega Man. I would like to see them do the same for X. And hopefully they can fix some of the convoluted bullshit that is the Mega Man X lore at this point.
Oh God, you will have fun unraveling that.
Yeah, Microsoft. The only game they could announce at Microsoft that would make me go, "Oh shit," is if they announced a new Fable.
After how Fable 2 and 3 ended, you asked for more Fable.
3 wasn't that bad. 3's ending wasn't that bad. 2 was kind of abrupt, but 3 wasn't that bad. Actually, the ending was actually kind of good. Depending on what you did, is what I'll say for Fable 3's ending.
Better than the ending that had you listen to the monologue and either you shoot or somebody else shoots, right?
Yeah, that's Fable 2. Fable 3's ending was a lot more bittersweet. It's actually pretty good. I was looking forward to what they would be able to do with a Fable 4. Unfortunately, Microsoft fucked up the franchise by making Lionhead make Fable the Journey, which no one wanted, and Project Milo, which was just and Fable Guardian Legend, which was part of the MMO bullshit that the battle royale bullshit that everyone's trying to get on now, instead of a proper Fable 4 RPG, which was just dumb, but whatever. But that's the only thing Microsoft could announce. Sony's not going to be there, so fuck them.
I was about to say, of course.
So the PC gaming show has multiple developers. I don't know, like like I said, I hope THQ Nordic can announce what those 4 new games are. I know one of them is going to be Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition.
Speaking of THQ Nordic, they also recently announced the remake/remaster of SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, which is arguably considered to be the best SpongeBob game.
That's saying something because there's a lot of SpongeBob games. There was a SpongeBob Drawn Together, which was terrible.
But though Battle for Bikini Bottom is arguably considered by fans to be the best one of these licensed SpongeBob games.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't terrible. I mean, like, here's the thing. The licensed SpongeBob games weren't as good as, say, Tack and the Power of Juju. Those games were really good. So, they're not terrible, but they also say that THQ Nordic will also might be doing a Destroy All Humans remake or reboot or another installment. Personally, I hope they just do Destroy All Humans 2 remastered because that's like the best one in the series. Or they could do 2 and 3 like smashed together since they use basically the same engine. That'd be awesome. But anyway, any game that lets me play as Cryptosporidium shooting hapless humans in the ass with an anal probe that makes their head explode is
all DNA.
It's all for DNA, all for that sweet. Well, in the first game, it was so that you could get DNA so that Pox could get his genitals. Or not Pox, Cryptosporidium could get his genitals because Pox lost his body. But in the second game, it's so that you get DNA and unlock little abilities and shit so that you can take on the Martians who are trying to take over the freaking Earth, man. But yeah, I would love to see if they do another installment of Destroy All Humans and then get those 2 voice actors back. It'll be totally worth it because Destroy All Humans was just so good, so much fun, just killing human beings.
I was about to say it was ham, wasn't it?
Using TK to pick up someone and throw them against the wall and kill them. The little gray alien. Oh shit! Oh. So much fun. Let's see what else. Devolver Digital. If they announce something like, "Hey, we're releasing another Shadow Warrior 3 because Shadow Warrior 2 left you on such a fucking cliffhanger." What else? Let's see. Are there any other things that would totally make my E3? No, that's about it. We got about 15 minutes. Anyone else have anything else they want to that could be announced that would make their day?
Thinking probably that new game where Retro was working on before they started working on Metroid Prime 4.
I don't think they were working on a new game. Although I could be wrong, but I don't think they were working on a new game. But if they were, hopefully I would like to see if it was Raven Blade, that game that they were working on years ago that Miyamoto came in and said, "Wait a second, you guys fucking up. You're doing like 4 projects at one time and you can't even get one of them out."
That's my number 9 bad.
We're canceling 3 of them, and you're gonna pick one and stick with it, motherfucker. like Miyamoto had to be your dad coming in. You fucking up, Junior. Get your shit together. You're fucking up. So, yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, I don't know if they'd show it because, they're going to be busy working on, Metroid Prime 4. I had a thought before this podcast began. I said, the difference between Nintendo and EA? Here's the difference. Here's the difference between Nintendo and EA, okay? Nintendo gave a studio that was completely unfamiliar with the IP, And when they started fucking up, Nintendo looked at it and said, "This is fucked up. We got to snatch it away and give it to the people who know what they're doing." And that was Metroid Prime 4. Okay. EA, on the other hand, gave a studio that was completely unfamiliar with a brand, with a style of genre game, that game. And when they started fucking up and running into trouble development, instead of taking it away and giving it to someone who knew what the fuck they were doing, they stuck with it, and it just came out as trash. And that was Anthem to BioWare, because BioWare made mid-tier Western RPGs. That's what they were good at, mid-tier Western RPGs. And then all of a sudden, they gave them a looter shooter, and they were like, people are like, I can't believe this looter shooter sucks. I can.
It's EA quality.
You know, you wouldn't go to a barbecue restaurant expecting, that was bought out by another company, and then they switch it to a sushi restaurant with the same staff, same equipment, but now they're going to make sushi and then expect that sushi to be good. And yet that's what people did at Anthem. They're like, Anthem's going to be good, but it's not a Western RPG. It's some other shit. And these people have never made a game like that before. And I know people are going to say, well, Mass Effect is basically a looter shooter, but it really isn't. It's a Western RPG with shooting mechanics. But, it is what it is. So yeah, Nintendo is willing to admit, oh man, we fucked up and we can fix this, which they did by giving it to the people they should have given it to in the first place, which I have no idea why they gave it to Namco Bandai, but whatever. Or Namdai or Bamco, depending on how you want to shorten that. But they fixed it, whereas, it is what it is. So, anyone else want to?
There's one news I found. Koji Igarashi is interested in making 2 more Castlevania episodes to follow up the Aria of Sorrow timeline.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Personally, I just wish Konami would fucking re-release the handheld Castlevania games, because those are good. Like Dark Sorrow, Aria of Sorrow.
I wish Konami get their heads out of the gutter and make more games and better cards.
I mean,
I don't hear me complaining.
I don't really give a shit about Order of Ecclesia. I never really gave a shit about that one, but I liked Dawn of Sorrow and Aria of Sorrow. I thought those were pretty good. I mean, I could have done without the touch controls where you had to use the stylus in the second.
The stylus was used only for the finishing blows, basically. I
don't like that. I don't like that. Like, when I'm playing Castlevania, I just want to play Castlevania. If I'm playing a Metroidvania Castlevania, I don't want to do all this weird shit. I just want to play the game. I don't want to be doing all that weird shit. Like, there's certain games where the stylus would really help. Like, if you're playing a strategy game, the stylus would be really useful. But a Metroidvania is not a strategy game. It's it's a Metroid. It's platforming with RPG elements. It's not really designed.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just saying that the only touch screen that was pretty good was that for the Castlevania series was the Dawn of Sorrow, which only had you use it for the finishing blow.
No, Order of Ecclesia did it too.
Oh, I thankfully never played it. I think.
Yeah, that's why I didn't like it, because it did the same stylish shit. Like, here's the thing. I'm kind of happy that Nintendo has kind of backed off of, you have to use our system's gimmick in our games, because sometimes the system gimmick is cool, and sometimes it's like, come on, man, I just want to play.
I was about to say, sometimes it's like the touch screen, and sometimes it's like the gyroscope.
Well, there's sometimes it just doesn't work. Like I remember I got Dragon Blade for my Wii. It was an early Wii title, and it literally had waggle controls, but they were so imprecise that you just flailed around like a maniac trying to do attacks, and it sucked. Or the first Red Steel. Red Steel. Oh God. Oh, don't get me started. like motion controls when they're done well can work really well, but when they're done badly, it's like fuck.
You can feel it.
I could have just used a controller for this shit, but that's just me. Anyone else have anything else they want to say?
At least waggling is better than button mashing. At least by some degree.
Yeah, one more thing. They announced this month's Splatfest event is going to be unicorns versus narwhals.
Really? I thought it would be unicorns versus dragons or unicorns versus nightmares or
unicorns versus narwhals.
So it's the Battle of the Horn.
Yes. I'm going to be on Team Unicorns, obviously.
I'm not even sure where I'm going to go. Seriously, that is a weird one.
Well, I mean, technically they're both unicorns. Actually, if they really wanted to be cool, it'd be unicorns versus rhinoceroses. They're both unicorns. Well, I mean, I don't know. It is what it is. Anyway, that's the end of the podcast. Anything you guys want to pimp out before we wrap things up?
Nothing at the moment. So I'm still debating which article to post, which article idea I should post first. Given if I have enough time, because I'm still hyped for E3. Nintendo's E3 to be exact, to be more specific.
All right.
Then save some of that hype for when it comes up.
All right. So yeah, I will be doing another video talking about how I feel about Yakuza Kiwami 2, which I've been playing through, but it's a bigger game than Yakuza Kiwami, or even Yakuza 0, so there's like more shit going on. I also have a review of Godzilla King of the Monsters and a local theater review of my local location of the Arlington Draft House Cinema, or Arlington Cinema, Arlington Draft House Cinema. So look forward to that. Well, actually, it's already up. I'm just pimping it out. You guys can watch it on my channel. It's actually pretty good. Let me see. Uh-oh. Hello, Mario Poker Nerd. You say you liked Sun and Moon. It was a breath of fresh air. I was not really into Sun and Moon. I mean, I know what you're trying to go for. I just wasn't really into it. If you lose your shit with an F-Zero, actually, yeah. If they did an F-Zero, and like, here's the thing. Like, if you did an F-Zero now, it couldn't just be a straight up racer. Like, it would have to have like a story mode, or you'd have to have like cart customization, like you win money in races that you could then use to buy parts to upgrade your part, or you could play like arcade racing mode, which is like, you know, you choose your classic F-Zero racers. It's Samurai Goro, it's Captain Falcon, it's some guy in black with a black, you get that type of thing. Whoever had the buddy to book Death Stranding a week before Pokemon SNS has a high chance of being fired right now. Well, I mean, they have two people with a different audience in Area 73. Like Death Stranding and Pokemon have two different audiences. Like I don't foresee the people who are like going wild and out over Pokemon as being the same people who give a shit about this Death Stranding and vice versa. You know, like the Cult of Kojima people, I don't see them as also being Pokemon people. You know what I mean? Also, Area 73, to our last story about the Xbox soap and deodorant. Axe apparently isn't dude bro enough. See, that's the thing. I think what they have here is the Australian version of Axe, because you can look at the branding. It's called Lynx. Yeah, it looks basically like it looks like the Australian version of Axe body spray. But the thing is, Axe body spray was hot like 3 years ago. I don't think they give a shit about it now. You know. But it is what it is. Basically, yeah. If you're looking for my channel and all that type of fun stuff, if you're looking for information on my channel, here's what you got to do. These are the rules, if you will, the rules of the channel. You can reach Red Fox on YouTube by looking up BS Busters. You can also reach me on Gmail at mrredfoxbsbuster@gmail.com. You can also reach me at Twitter on Matthew Wesley at mrredfox91. With that being said, remember, rate, comment, share, subscribe. If you have any topic suggestions, you can reach me in those many places, and we will add them to future podcasts. That being said, peace, good night, and we're literally a week away from E3. So the next time you'll see a midweek cast, it'll be us fanning out about
what happened during E3.
Yeah, during well, partially because E3 apparently is going from Tuesday
Sunday to Thursday.
Yeah, officially Tuesday to Thursday, but really the PC show is on Sunday, so really it's Sunday to Friday because Nintendo's going to do some shit all week long because they like to rock the party all week long. But that being said, remember, rate, comment, share, subscribe, and all that fun jazz. And peace.
And please hype responsibly.
And fuck
especially when it's E3.